All right, guys, we've got something special for you here today, and that is Malawa or Malawa Shrimp. They are from Sulawesi or Sulawesi, however you want to pronounce it, but the island off Indonesia, down in the Southeast Asian Ocean, bordered by Australia, Papua New Guinea, Malaysia, that region. So these are an often overlooked shrimp. Right now I've got them in a little specimen viewer jar, and the light is kind of shining down on them pretty intensely so that you can kind of see what they look like. This is what your average one looks like. Let's try to get it in focus. And they have kind of this iridescent speckling, and the males, so that one that's up right here, that was a male with the iridescence, whereas the females tend to have more of this armor along the side of their body, those ribs with the clear chitin in between. Those are where their eggs are stored, and then they have kind of a black to greenish color saddle when they do bury up, when they have their eggs getting ready. So kind of an interesting shrimp in that a lot of people think that they're really boring looking. I think that they're definitely underrated. You can see sometimes they'll turn these marvelous red colors, and I know a lot of people would think, well, that's kind of like the worst cherry shrimp I've ever seen. But there's something more subdued and natural about this, especially if you're going with like an system that's like a biotope of a specific area. And just like you can see some like subtle grays and blues, and they're just a very interesting shrimp energy-wise also. They are not scared of fish whatsoever, so you might want to be careful. I would not put them with any fish bigger than, an inch long, nano fish kind of thing. The adults will be fine, but I want the babies to also survive, and they will outcompete genetically. They will outcompete through reproduction any sort of Neocaridina. So we've got Neocaridina blues in here currently, and these guys should just add to the little diversity, but they won't interbreed. And even though I have some other Sulawesi or Sulawesi shrimp in here that are the red bands and the blue banded crystal shrimp and panda shrimps, they will not interbreed. They're different forms. These are Paredentis, Caridina shrimp, and they will, genetically, they don't have the ability to interbreed with any shrimp that we know of in the hobby, at least, and they're a little hard to find. You can find them online sometimes, and they're a little bit under, they're kind of, they're not hyped up very much because they're kind of just the collector's special in a lot of people's eyes. But for me, they do the duty of a mono shrimp in the level of work when they're cleaning. And they also change colors. So all these colors you're seeing, they can change these colors kind of on the flip of a dime. Is that the right word? Anyways, they turn colors. So partially the substrate and things like that, slowly they'll turn colors. And then in the long run, they turn the color of the overall lighting of the aquarium. So in here, you're probably going to get more of the sage or gray colors. Whereas if I had white sand, you might get some of the blue or brighter reds. And with the dark ones, you'd get like that darker bluish gray one in the back, usually. But now when they sense a female who has buried up with eggs, they will actually put out a hormone in the water, and they turn all different colors, and they swim around all over in open water. They're not afraid of anything. They love planted tanks. And the nice thing about these shrimp is they are bulletproof. So they come from one particular stream. on the island that I was talking about, and they've kind of evolved in a micro ecosystem in that stream, and they are just rugged, hardy. They have had floods in that stream. There's limestone in that stream, so they go from everything from high pH and and high TDS with branches and muddiness and low oxygen and all sorts of stuff being washed out with the monsoon seasons, all the way to, and up to 85, 87, 88 degrees in stagnant ponds afterwards when the forest floor is flooded and so forth. But they are mostly in the little creeks coming down out of the mountains, and most of the year they're in, TDS under 50, pretty crystal clear rainwater, and probably 74 to 76 degrees is like their natural zone. But all that said, you heard what I just said about, they're used to these extreme changes. So they're very hardy shrimp. They're a good first shrimp to keep, and they have a lot of energy and activities that other dwarf shrimps don't seem to have quite the range of, like doing little backflips and swimming around and turning colors and kind of fighting with each other like peacefully, but squabbling over stuff. A lot of times I'll see them try to carry off food that's 5 times the size of their body or something kind of comical like that. So I often feed my shrimp in this tank. I'll feed some down here, some here, and some here, so they can all kind of get at it in their own time, and maybe even some up higher. But I just wanted to introduce this shrimp to y'all who haven't seen what a Malawa or a Malawa shrimp looks like. And this is what they look like. They eat just normal shrimp food. They love algae, detritus on wood, and biofilm, aufwuchs, things like that. And they are just a nice little addition to any aquarium. So I highly recommend them. You can usually get them cheaper, and people are working on raising strains of like the red and the blue you see here. And it's taking a while. They hit the scene in around 2008. A German fellow brought them in, but hopefully we will see, some interesting variation. But I like the natural look of the tans and the kind of smoky gray see-through look like this one has. I really like that. She actually has a saddle of eggs ready to go, and she's got kind of slight blue. Sorry about the focus, guys. These shrimp just move all over. But she's got that slight blue color and kind of a iridescent shine to it with little flecks, almost like she's got metallic flake painting like a car would have. So that is the scoop on these shrimp. I would say you can add them to any tank that doesn't have aggressive fish that are going to eat them. If they fit in the fish's mouth, there's a good chance that they will get eaten because of how outgoing they are. But if they are, if you're dealing with CPDs or rasboras or maybe neon tetras, I wouldn't go with cardinals probably. But littler fish like that, culiloches, other shrimp, I think you're going to do just fine. And I mean, I've had lemon tetras, I've had gouramis and things like that in with them, but the population just doesn't grow as quickly. That's going to be your problem, is you may not see them multiply as quickly. Whereas naturally, these guys outdo Caridina cherry shrimp, as I said, and they give birth to miniature versions of themselves, which is nice. No larval stage, no saltwater stage needed, and so it's a real easy and rewarding shrimp to have, especially if you know going into it that you're not going to be getting these bright neon colors and things like that. It's a nice way to make your natural garden or Iwagumi style aquascape. It's a nice way if you don't want to use a mono shrimp. Maybe they're too aggressive or just too big. Maybe they throw their proportions off. Or maybe you want to use these shrimp to make the Amanos look big, because these guys get to about this size, and Amanos will double this size usually. And they can coexist. However, you just want to make sure that the smaller Caridinas or Neocaridinas in with a mono shrimp are getting their share of food as well. So these, though, they're here for algae. They're here to clean the fine willow moss and Christmas tree moss and all that stuff, Christmas moss. So that's why I'm throwing them in this tank. And in this tank, we've got a crazy diverse crew of dwarf pygmy striped, what are they, zebra loaches, and then panda loaches, which are really teeny, and 3 or 4 different species of shrimp, 40 species of plants. We've got erythromicron, CPDs, and then Aru2 pseudomagills, which are also an understated fish. Looks like it's kind of a gray plain fish, and then when it starts mating and showing off for its prospective wife or baby's mama to be, I should say, they have all these cool fins and colors and behaviors. So I like this tank in that I don't know what I'm going to get. It seems like a calm tank with not that much going on, and then out of nowhere you just see lots of crazy activity. So these guys are going to fit in well with that. Alright guys, well, I will talk to you next time. Take care of yourselves. If you have any questions, drop them below. Also, feel free to join the Facebook group, which the info will be in the description below. And if you want to support the channel, I'd like to get a mic to do some interviews, as well as maybe a little bit better camera or something like that. I just got a tripod, but we're looking at maybe some lenses and things like that to be able to bring you better shots, or a gimbal so that the shots are smooth when following the fish. That's what all the big channels have. The big boys, like when I talked to Jimmy over Swisky Vision, and I talked to him over at Aquarium Co-op. So, or Joel Corvus Ocean, they all have those toys, and so I wanna be a big boy too. So in any case, that's where that funding comes from, is the Patreon. There's a link in the description. Check it out if you want to do that. If not, no worries. I've been in a place many times when I can't spare it. But I hope this information helps you all regardless of all that. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.